the 15-minute mark. That wouldn't have been bad. So, moving right along. They get to what looks like a meditation club. It was run by a yak. And I figured out he's played by one of a duo from Cheek and Sean. Know who they are?
No.
Good, neither do I. All I know is that they made a lot of stoner humor. And the yak sees the photos like, yeah, I know who he is. Let me go in and ask somebody. And then Judy figures out that the yak is not wearing any clothes whatsoever, and is that the yak works at a naturalist club. When I figure out this isn't a movie, I'm like, is this real? And then I see it in a trailer, and I was like, yep, this is real. It's like, granted, these animals are just as accurate as we see real animals, but yeah, we get the idea. Judy can't stand being in there, and Nick is like, want to stop? No. So, I was like, I already told you that this was going to be in the movie, but do you have anything to say about that?
When did you
figure this out? A couple months beforehand. I saw it like in a posting somewhere. Someone figured it out. So I was like, what did you have to say?
I thought it was
weird. You didn't think you were going to see something like that, did you?
No.
Yeah. Nope. So, the yak goes to an elephant because like elephants have good memory. Tries to ask her for information about the otter, but turns out that he is the one that knows all the information himself, and is just reciting it off the top of his head, thinking that she knows it. Judy takes a note and figures out that license plate number. And Nick tries to leave, saying that, okay, anyone can run a license plate number. However, Judy's not allowed to use the system, so it was like, no, your word's still bad, you still have to be with us.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the sloth scene.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like I said, when I saw this in the... It was like, I've seen this teaser twice. I've heard people have seen it more. It's like, I heard that Rob Walker can't stand this scene now because he's seen it so often. He said it was mildly amusing the first time, but then he gets sick of it. But he wasn't going to judge the movie because of this. I was like, watching this for the first time. And then he saw it for the first time when we as a family went to see the new Star Wars movie. And the audience actually really liked this trailer. They were really laughing. They really liked it. And I've heard people are polarized with the scene. Either you love it or you're like... So, there you go. Seen it in the movie. I saw a midnight showing. I was just with my sister, who's 18, my mom, and there's two guys that look like they're from the military. They're sitting in the same row. And we've all seen this scene, so we're like, alright, this is fine. It's like, we don't hate this scene, but we already know what's going to happen. It's only slightly abridged in the teaser. There are only like a few things they remove. So there's like... It's like, out of all the scenes in the movie you could have picked to tease, this is what you choose. And you don't even edit it down. There's like, there are a couple shots I noticed they edited down, but otherwise, no, they don't. And the actor playing the sloth isn't unknown. I don't know who he is. But Priscilla, the woman that's there, is played by Kristen Bell, who was Anna from Frozen. Remember her?
Yeah.
So she got herself a cameo. So... The entire time, as you know, Nick has a very evil look on his face. And even he's there the entire time, and it's obvious that he picked that DMV just to waste her time. So, but then here's a very interesting thing. And I already knew this from a teaser. They get the license plate, they get to the car, and we see it in the back of a limo. Something went very bad because there are claw marks everywhere. But they find Otterton's wallet and identification. Nick figures out that the limo is owned by someone that doesn't like him. And two polar bears arrive and take them to the guy's place. And Judy initially believes that the largest polar bear would be their leader. But it turns out all it is a very small shrew that looks and sounds like Don Corleone from The Godfather. This is... I mean, it's like... I showed you The Godfather, Daniel. You're 17. You're old enough. And... You were 16 at the time, but that... You recognize this, right?
Yeah. How could you not?
Yeah. Have you seen the trailer that showed this?
No.
So this was a big surprise for you.
Kind of.
It was like I knew it was coming, but it's still a very funny thing. It's like Mom has seen The Godfather 2. She found it hilarious, and that shrew is played by Marissa Marsh, who is a very talented professional voice actor, and he played Brain from Pinky and the Brain in Animaniacs. So he's a very established guy.
Oh. Okay.
And his impersonation of Don Corleone, I can't remember the actor, shame on me. But it's very spot on. It sounds a lot like him, except you can understand him a little bit better. Like, I can understand every line that this shrew can say, but for Don Corleone, he has such a thick voice. Like, everybody's made fun of it. So, and the only reason I can make out all his lines is because I've read the book. So, it took a long time to read, though. So, the reason why the shrew doesn't like him is because Nick sold him a fur rug that's made out of a skunk's butt. And that's kind of a confusing thing because, like, in this world, like, all animals function the same way. Who knows? Maybe skunks aren't anthropomorphic in this world. Who knows? Like, we never see one, do we?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So, Judy reveals that she's a cop and she has him liable for arrest. It's like, tell him where the otter is. He's like, no, you're gonna die. So he tries to freeze them alive, but then his daughter comes in a wedding dress, and it's the same shrew from earlier that Judy saves, and the shrew. And so Mr. Big, the name of the shrew, decides to spare them and tells them that Otterton is his florist. I think it's someone who like is a flower designer, flower grower, and that he went insane and attacked the driver in the limo, and that's why it never arrived. So they go into the rainforest to meet the jaguar who drove the limo, and the jaguar has no idea why Otterton went savage. And it's like, fine, let's talk about this. And then the jaguar goes savage. Here's the thing. When he went savage, I thought this was because he was scratched by the otter.
I figured.
I thought this was a disease spreading through the animals, and that since he was scratched, then he would have gotten this too, but it just took a while. So there's an intense fight scene. Judy manages to handcuff the jaguar, but she and Nick get tangled up literally. And Judy tries to show the police force the jaguar, but he's gone. And the boss tries to take her badge, but Nick reminds them that you only give her 2 days to solve a case you haven't solved in 2 weeks. We have 10 hours left. We still have a chance at this. So they get on one of those balcony-like things. What is it called? To take him back to the main Zootopia. And then Nick reveals his past of broken dreams. Here's the thing. I have already seen, like, on DeviantArt and Furfinity, an artist I follow who's from Mexico. He saw the film 2 weeks before we did. He saw a Spanish dub. And it was the only way to watch it because Disney films aren't popular enough in Spanish-speaking countries to show an English subtitled version. And he drew a picture of Nick, still in uniform, sitting on his bed with a sad look on his face. I've seen a teaser of this movie that showed him in this attire, and other artists have drawn this. Yet, I was not prepared for what they actually show in this flashback. I mean, what do you think? That was very screwed up, wasn't it?
Interesting. The film showed like a prejudice.
Yeah.
Like,
the film already establishes a prejudice between different types of animals, depending on what the animals are. And here's the thing about young Nick. He's played by Kate Sorsey. I don't know. Susie. Sorry. Someone will correct me on this one. And she's a very professional voice actress. She played Phil and Lil in Betty DeVille from Rugrats. And yes, young Nick sounds like Phil, but what are you gonna do? Kind of, yeah. So what happens is Nick is not only the only fox in this group, but the only predator, and the other animals beat him up, attach a muzzle to a stone muzzle to his face, and kick him out. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw this scene, I almost cried. I'm not even making that up. And I'm convinced if I was a child, I'd be crying too. So it's like I actually left a comment on this page saying that, like, twice for DeviantArt and for Affinity, saying that so if I were to have seen this as a child, I'd be in tears. The artist replied back saying that he's seen the movie 4 times and not a single time has the kids in this theater cried at this scene. But there are certain other scenes that they get emotional at. So what happens is, it's like, and this is ironic for me because I've seen many very intense movies as a child. I've seen many Disney movies like The Lion King. I've seen Pinocchio. I've seen other very intense films, and I don't get emotional at these scenes as a child. I've seen the Bambi scene and I didn't cry, but who knows? Maybe I just sensitive. I was a Boy Scout growing up. It was like, I don't think about it anymore, but it was very important for 5 years.
I was a Boy Scout for 10 minutes.
Really? That's how long it lasted? I thought it would last longer than that. Maybe a
Yeah.
few weeks, maybe a year. Like, you did a good job talking yourself out of it because it took me forever to do that. It wasn't until I was accepted as a tenderfoot, I'm like, no, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. It takes up too much of my time, and I'm in 6th or 5th grade, 6th, 7th grade, I don't know what. I want out.
One camping trip was all it took for me to get sick of it.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Oh well.
I
So,
had an allergic reaction.
ooh. Do you know what it was?
To this day, I have no idea.
Maybe it was pollen. Maybe it was a plant. I don't know. We don't know. Yeah.